Please, I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello, party people. Welcome to episode 67 of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney Perry. How the heck are you? All right, my last episode was I went off. Got a little cuckoo, got a little angry. I'm not going to apologize because it's my feelings. It's how I feel. It's how I was feeling at the time. It's how I'm still feeling. But today, I want to try to bring a little happiness. I don't want to be all doom and gloom and pissed off. That's not good. So what are we talking about today? I do want to say that for anybody, I've talked about my mom and what I went through with my mom, and I just want to kind of touch on that a bit. I am still suffering more than I can even put into words with PTSD from everything that happened with my mom during COVID and her being in assisted living and how Kate Brown in Oregon handled the policies for COVID with regards to assisted living and just in general, actually. I'm not going to go off on my soapbox on politics or policies. I just want to speak to those of you who have been in my position that whether their loved one was in a hospital or assisted living or you couldn't get to them because of policies regarding COVID. So you didn't get to say goodbye to your loved one, or your loved one had to die alone and scared. There's a lot of PTSD and trauma that goes with that. When, with me personally, like I said, when my mom could use a phone, she would call me begging me to come visit her, begging me to come take her out of there, begging me to come sit with her because she was scared. She was scared to death. She knew she was losing her memory, and she knew that I wasn't able to come by, and she didn't want to sit there alone, surrounded by strangers that were allowed to touch her, surrounded by CNAs and med techs and doctors and housekeeping that could all go home and come back and go out to the grocery store and go out into public, touch a bunch of things, get germs on them, and then go and be in my mom's room. But I was not allowed to go to my mom's room. I wasn't allowed to visit my mom and close the door and be with her with a mask. Nope. But a million other people could walk in and out and see my mom, who was scared and alone and didn't want to see them. She didn't want to see strangers. She was getting dementia. She didn't even know. She wanted to cling on to a face that she knew, a face that gave her comfort in her time of need, in her time of anxiety. And you know how hard it is for both of us when she calls me and I can't see my mom and I can't explain to her why? And then she wasn't allowed to use her phone. Then she couldn't use her phone. Not that she wasn't allowed. She wasn't capable. She was not capable because she had dementia and she physically did not know how to call me. So I tried calling caregivers to call me from my mom's phone. That's how I had to get a hold of my mom. I had to get a hold of the assisted living facility. They had to wait for a caregiver to have the time to go in and push the buttons and hold the phone up to my mom's ear or put her on speakerphone. That's how I had to get a hold of my mom. Talk to her on speakerphone after a caregiver dialed the phone for her. And then the caregivers didn't have time for that. You know why? A bunch of caregivers quit during COVID because they were making shots mandatory and because caregivers don't get paid shit. They get paid minimum wage to do a job that definitely they should get paid a lot more for. Nobody wants to be a caregiver. So then they were short-staffed. So my mom also stopped getting the care that she needed. She got neglected. Her catheter didn't get cleaned like it should. She didn't get baths like she should. So now she's sitting there in her filth and getting sick. My mom was sitting in her filth and getting sick and scared on top of it. And I wasn't allowed to be there for her. I wasn't allowed to comfort her. She had to have strangers do it. It was okay for a stranger to be with my mom, but not me. That's how Oregon and Kate Brown handled this. They should all be sued. They should all be put in front of a firing squad, actually, if you ask me. Biden and his administration should be put in front of a firing squad. They should be kept away from their loved ones. I have so much trauma and PTS over this, I can't even imagine. And then on top of all of that, my fiance was thrown in prison for something he did not do, and got 13 years will be taken away from him when all is said and done, from the time that this happened until the time he went to prison, and then the time he's off probation. Pre-trial, 5 years in prison and probation. It'll be 13 years of his and my life and our family's life that was completely taken away. And I had to go through my mom dying, my son going through massive alcoholism and gambling problem, my other son going through massive depression, me having to work and my boss getting in a car accident and having to work extra hours, trying to take care of my property while working and trying to take care of my mom. But before my mom had all the problems, before my mom got dementia, I was driving to Astoria, and then I moved her to the assisted living, went there all the time to care for her because, again, they were short-staffed and I felt she wasn't getting the care. So I was at the assisted living facility all the time. And then she got moved to memory care, and I was there all the time making sure that her care plan was followed through, and it wasn't. I would go there and she'd be sitting in her filth and clear that she hadn't taken a shower in like 6 days. I have a lot of trauma, and my mom, I feel, would be alive now had she not. She died on her death certificate. It quotes severe septic. She was severely septic. You know why? She didn't get her catheter cleaned like she should. She didn't get to the doctor because the urologist. She had a catheter and her urologist kept canceling her appointments. You know why? Because nurses kept quitting. So they were short-staffed. So they would cancel my mom's very, very, very important doctor's appointments to be able to clean her catheter and take care of her UTI. So she got severely septic. And they did that because of the rules and policies that Kate Brown and Biden put in. People died. Many, many, many people died for no reason. Joe Biden and all of the Democratic states are murderers. The governors of the states that are Democrat states are murderers. I'll say it again. The Biden administration and the Democratic states that put these COVID policies in place are murderers. And we, the people, have a lot to be pissed off about. You have taken away our loved ones, and it is your fault. And you will never be held accountable for mass murder. Somehow you will never be accountable. You will never be accountable for my PTSD and people's PTSD and anxiety and grief. That's something you just get away with, and now you're continuing to do it. So for everybody out there that has had to deal with not being able to say goodbye to their loved one, with having their loved ones taken away needlessly, sorry doesn't even cut it. Sorry isn't even begin to cut it. I just wanted to remind everybody before they vote what happened and who did this to us, and the state that we're in and why we're in this position. And I wanted to remind everybody that counseling is important, breathing is important, exercise is important, but no amount of counseling and breathing and meditation is going to take away the fact that our loved ones were needlessly killed. I tried to preoccupy my mind with other things, and I tried to delve into work and other things. But my mom is, my mom is gone, and I'm struggling. I'm struggling with our government that put away my innocent fiance. The government has just really been screwing people over left and right. Not just me, many people. And right now they're getting carried away and thinking that they can do things that are against the Constitution, and they're getting really big for their britches, and it's scary. Oh, I don't know. So, at any rate, that's one thing on my mind. The other is social media and all the censoring that's going on. Again, still talking about it. I know I've done a million podcasts about it, but it's still going on. And it's making me sad. So all I can say is let's stand together. Let's stand together and let's try to get through this. Let's try to do the good. Let's try to come up with a solution. Let's try to figure out how we're going to navigate the rest of this. Let's really put thought into who we're voting for and what our values are. I feel like if we stay true to ourselves and our values, hopefully this whole thing will write itself out. I hope. So to those of you out there still making a difference in the world, those of you out there going out finding the solutions, those of you out there working, those of you out there still being kind, those of you out there volunteering, those men and women, those police officers, firemen, doctors, nurses, and everybody out there, just everybody out there, those parents, those friends, the daughters, the sons, the husbands, the wives out there that are just trying so hard to still be good and kind, still volunteer, still help people, still be still be optimistic, to still look at the good side. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad there are people out there that are still good. I see good every day. I see good every day, and that's what I'm clinging on to. I see people still holding open doors. I still see people volunteering. I still see people trying to laugh and make others laugh. I still see people living life and appreciating nature and appreciating clean air and being grateful. And I love it. Still holding on to their faith. Thank you so much. In a time when things are hard, it's people like you that are my heroes. Honestly, they're my heroes because I haven't been strong lately. I have not been strong. I have been bitter and I don't want to be. I have been angry and I don't want to be. I've been trying so hard not to be. I really have. But man, I'm not going to lie. I've been struggling. I've really been struggling. And I don't want it to be hard to be a good person anymore. I don't want someone to break my spirit. I don't want to have to try so hard to be good and happy anymore. I don't want to try so hard to focus on the positive anymore. That makes me sad. That makes me scared. So thank you so much to those of you out there that are getting up every day, and no matter what's going on, you still have hope. You still have kindness. You still have work ethic. You are the heroes. You are the people that I look up to and admire. So this episode is dedicated to all those out there that are still trying. You are amazing. You deserve you deserve the parade. You deserve a pride parade. You deserve a month. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening. Thank you for listening when I'm gone for a month and a half. Thank you for listening when I'm ranting and raving and pissed off. Thank you for listening when there's stuff in the background and you can hear cars and noise. Thank you for listening when I'm not being professional. Thank you for listening when I'm babbling and I'm not making any sense. Thank you for listening no matter how long or short my podcasts are. Thank you for being you no matter where you live in the world. Thank you for being you no matter what color, religion, sexual orientation, political point of view you have. Thank you.